People say it's uncool to wear the merch of a band to their own concert. Well, those people have never been to a Trump rally.
You don't see a Buttigieg RV like this. Even a Kia is tastefully adorned with like one bumper sticker. Is that a Trump hat on top of a cowboy hat?
Yeah, it's actually my dad's hat.
That's sort of like the turducken of patriotism. Has this impeachment been fair?
I think it's a joke.
I just needed to build something as tough as Trump, so I made the Trumpinator.
So a ruthless, heartless automaton has come from the future to destroy our hope? Is that what's going on here?
But like any unlicensed merchandise, sometimes the official branding messages can get lost.
Why are you here?
Well, because 2 weeks ago I had a dream, and in that dream I was given this vision.
You had a screen printing dream? Your dream told you that Trump is going to win, and then Ivanka, and then Don Jr., and Eric. Tiffany is going to win in 2048, and then Barron. Great.
All right.
But Barron only serves one term.
No, 2 terms.
No, that's only one term. That's 4 years. Yeah, actually, these are mostly one-term presidents.
No, you're not reading it right, brother.
No, I'm like 20. No, this is 24 to 28. That's
And
4
then-
years.
And then another 4.
No. These are one-term presidents.
No.
Ivanka, one term. Don Jr., one term.
What's that for Ivanka? What's the date?
Ivanka is 2024,
And?
2028.
That's 8 years.
That's 4 years. No, you have a 4-year period here where somebody else gets elected.
No.
It doesn't say anything about re-elected.
It does. It has her getting elected in 2024 and 2028.
Your math is wrong.
No, my math is not wrong.
And while these patriots love America, they do think that Old Glory could use a little jazzing up.
It's not the size of the flag that matters. It's how many votes you get in the electoral college system. Everybody said this thing.
Stand on your flag.
It's a big flag.
Yeah, please don't stand on
It's
it.
also not an American flag.
The stars and stripes on it, brother. Just appreciate it if you don't stand
Doesn't
on
it? It feels like it's mostly Donald Trump obscuring the
Still,
flag.
appreciate it if you don't stand on
To
it.
be honest, if anybody's disrespecting a flag, I think it's the 10-foot-high Donald Trump. What is that? Is that Trump? That's Trump on a Confederate flag?
That's a Confederate flag, yeah. See that, CNN? See that? Dixie still lives. Cold water.
Buddy, you don't know how to pick a winner. You might as well put a Jets hat on.
And the MAGA merch isn't just fun, it's functional. Because on January 6th, it was a great way to identify all your fellow insurrectionists.
I was worried that we were in trouble, but then I saw that we got the tyranny response team here, and I feel a lot better. Thanks for all you do.
Look into your heart, okay? It's not a joke.
Look, you make a good point, but you
Yes, I
are
do.
wearing
No,
you're wearing
I'm pissed off right now.
a onesie that is a flag. I suppose if you bought all of these flags and all of these garments, you gotta do something like this. I mean, they've been prepping for this at least sartorially for years.